Hello guys, welcome to another video. So today we're going to look at gold. I think it's been a while since we looked at this one, because the last time when you looked at it I was telling you about this level here, the one that I marked. I told you that it's a very good area for you to search for selling trades, and our target was here because we were saying at the time the price was really was basically just playing between these two. We didn't have any direction, but I told you that as much as we can have the trend line being taken out, the price is gonna struggle to pass here, and you can see the price just dropped all the way to the downside. So make sure that you stick with me until the end so that I can show you how I come up with this predictions, how I do my top down analysis just using pure price action. So let's get started. All right, so this is a monthly chart, and you know that when I do my analysis, I like to just check the biggest time frame, which is a monthly chart, so that I can just have an idea of where this thing could be headed to in the next coming months or so. So if you look at this one, we can see that it's been moving up for a very long time, and the highest price we reached was there. And since then, we have never actually managed to break that high and create a new higher high. So it's going to be a very tough challenge for the bulls to try and take out that high, which means you need to understand that the location where we are, we have really been struggling since 2019 to try and, create a new high basically, and we failed. So even now, creating a new high is possible, but the chances of that happening are very slim. It's possible, it might take a while. If the price starts to play there and not drop, then that's when maybe they can catch their get their strength and push beyond that. But for now, we can see if this monthly candlestick closes like this, as a bearish pin bar, this can also add more pressure to the buyers and end up pushing the price to the downside. So let's check what we have on a weekly chart. So this is what we have on a weekly chart, and basically the same thing that we saw that side where we had said that this is the high that we're really struggling to break, right? And we can see the same thing that we saw on the monthly, where the price was basically forming some pin bars. The current candlestick on monthly seems like it's going to be a pin bar, but we still have some time before the week ends. But we can see that the same thing is happening here on weekly, where the trend on weekly is definitely bullish, and we are now forming this bearish pin bar, and we are most likely gonna drop maybe towards this trend line. For as long as the price is not creating what, a new high, it will always have a chance of doing what, of dropping towards the trend line. So that's all that we can take from this one. So let's quickly have a look at what we have on daily. So this is our daily chart, and if you look at the daily chart, the same thing we're seeing that side. We are moving very much to the upside, and suddenly the price sort of moved to the other side of the trend line that we had on this chart, which is this one here, right? And basically we have just touched, or maybe moved up until that high, but then we dropped. And when it dropped, which is the same thing that we commented on in the previous video, where we're talking about this, saying that the sellers, they formed what we call bearish engulfing. So basically, those who don't know what bearish engulfing is, it's when the bulls are pushing up and then the bears suddenly become aggressive, pushing to the downside, where their body swallows at least one body of the previous candlestick from the previous move. When you look at this red candlestick swallowed the bodies of those bullish candlesticks, which is what we call bearish engulfing. And now the price is playing on the outside, and it has removed this. It has removed that, which means it has taken out that high, so I mean that low, which is why even on the H4 that I showed you at the beginning of the video, we were saying that there's a lot of pressure to put to the downside. And also when you think about what we saw on monthly, where we had said that the price is what, the price is touching that high that it has been struggling to break since 2019, sorry. So that's why even here we are most likely to drop to the downside, just like we saw on weekly, where we said that it has a chance of dropping towards the weekly trend line, which is this one here. So the same thing, we're seeing it on what, on daily, to say that this has got a chance to drop maybe until this looks nice, or even beyond that. So we will see, but this is the one that I think it looks much nicer. It might even align with that weekly trend line. So let's check what we have on H4. So on H4, nothing has changed. The only thing that we need to change from our previous trend, because the trend line initially was there and now the price moved lower than this, which means we now have to do what? To shift that trend line and say the bearish trend line that we had, what's here, and it has been removed. I'm not sure about this high there, and we also took out the high. And what does that mean? That means that on H4, right, the bears were moving strongly to the downside. They managed to defend that resistance that we speaking about in the previous video, and now we have a new trend line like that, and we moved higher than this resistance there, which means we broke the trend line and we broke the resistance. And this area here, it's the one that initiated the move to the upside, breaking the trend line and breaking the resistance. It's a pity that on this time frame you don't have a zone, actually like a nice zone there at the bottom, but you know that this swing low is the one that pushed up, changing the trend on this. Maybe on H1 you will have a nice H1 zone there, but when you look at the H4 structure, it's bullish, and the price was just pulling back towards the area that did what, or the swing low that did what, that pushed the price up, breaking the structures and changing the trend. What do you call this? And changing the trend on this time frame. So now what do we do? Because when you look at H4 is suggesting that if we don't print a new low here, we'll have a chance to push up until there. That's if we don't print a new low. But when you look at the big guys are saying what? Okay, maybe let's say on daily, you're just trying to go up until there, to that area of what? The one that pushed to the downside, breaking the trend line. Maybe you want to do that. So, but I would suggest you need confirmation for that, because when you look at on weekly is saying bearish pin bar, the location, they might just move straight towards the trend line. But if you get a confirmation, maybe the price will just want to play there before actually dropping towards this, and of which we're seeing it on H4 is actually suggesting that we have a chance to push up to at least this, which is your TP1, or at least, or even above that. But I would suggest you just stick to this one, because of what? The pressure from the bigger guys. We don't want to push them too much, pushing them all the way up. So you're just looking for an area to buy, a confirmation there, and then you are targeting that. So let's check what we have on H1. So this is our H1 structure. So remember, you need to pick your time frame and stick to that. So on the H1, if you remember what you saw on H4, where we had said this swing low is the one that we saying it's a very strong one, this swing low there. And in this case, it's the one where the price just went straight to it. And when you look at it, it looks very strong, because once it was formed, this zone, it pushed the price strongly to the upside and breaking this area of resistance there. So you can see that it actually did something, and it is located at the very same swing low that we saw on H4 that pushed up and broke the H4 trend line. So that's why when the price came back to it, you were like, I can take a buy trade there, because of what? Where that zone is located and what it has achieved. And you can see the price did actually move up until there, still playing around. And when you're just trying to assess how the price came back from here to here, it actually gave you what? A bearish pin bar. I mean a bearish trend line. So you can put it maybe somewhere around there, of which it has been removed now. So anywhere around there, if you get a pullback, you can keep on pushing. But remember that the more the price plays around the same level without actually being pushed further away from it, the weaker this area gets. You need to also keep that in mind, to say that this zone, yes, it has been touched, and we are anticipating it to just shoot all the way up to at least until there. But now it's allowing the price to play there. That's not good. What if those big guys, weekly and monthly, they actually don't want the price to go there? They just want to push to the downside, which is why I'm saying when you're executing, you need to make sure that you use the structure on the time frame where you're executing from, and you also target the structure, the opposing structures there. So if you are someone that's on H4, you actually have a chance to go to at least there. So with confirmation, I think this is doable, just us hitting there. So when you're trying to push it further beyond that, that might end up being a stretch, but you can also hold and hope that the price will push up until there. But keeping in mind that when you look at the big guys, they're saying any moment we can try and push the price down there. So you just need to allow the market to lead you, allow the market to show you what it wants to do. Then you just decide whether it is ready to drop or it wants to play there first before dropping. So I think I'll leave this one here, guys, and if you like this type of videos, you can just hit the like button. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.